Welcome to the Brand Currency Podcast. This is a show where we break down branding and design in a way that actually makes sense for your business. I'm your host, Charles McGill, and this is my lovely co-host.
Hi, I'm Jonsi McGill. I'm also his wife and business partner.
That's right. That's right. So we are here to actually dive into a topic that's got a lot of big business energy. Okay, what we're going to be talking about is why big corporations often change their logos. Maybe not often, but they do it a lot. What do you think about that, babe?
Well, I think it's definitely something we need to discuss because sometimes these big businesses will do these changes to their logo without really us noticing. They could have so many different iterations and, they're always constantly improving their logo, improving, what they're doing. And I think, it's time for small business owners to maybe think about their brand in the same type of way.
That's right. Things we can learn from that. Sometimes they're subtle changes, sometimes they're big changes. We're going to be talking about what you guys can learn from that on this episode. All right. So, Jonsi, have you noticed that these brands like Walmart, PayPal, Instagram, through the years, they refresh their logos, right? Sometimes the changes are subtle. Sometimes they're massive, right? But there's always a reason behind them, right? So the thing is that people don't fully understand sometimes is that how their brand's visuals can signal different things for their business. So if your logo is outdated or it's unclear or it's just not aligned with your business, you might be leaving them money on the table, right? For example, Walmart. Do you notice? Do you remember the Walmart change?
Yeah, it's it was all over social media.
Yes. Okay, what were they saying in social media?
Okay, so I remember folks were saying things like, there's no difference. They probably spent millions of dollars on this and it looks the same, but it really clearly looks different. And, I think they're trying to change with the times. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it definitely looked different to me, because from my design eye, but to your point, there were a lot of people who felt like there was no change at all.
Oh, they were cracking jokes all
they had
over
mad
the place.
jokes. Mad jokes, because really to the naked eye, it didn't seem like much of a change, right? But for the most part, at least according to Walmart, and I'll read a little bit what Walmart was saying. Basically, Walmart updated the logo to modernize its brand and reflect its focus on digital innovation. So the new logo included a streamlined font. They kind of changed their font. It refined the color scheme, so make it a little brighter.
Yeah, it looks so much better.
Yeah.
The brightness of it.
Exactly.
The old logo, it did look a little kind of faded.
Yes.
It was given kind of 80s, that yellowish faded vibe.
Yeah. Well, interesting too, you wouldn't notice the fade until you saw the new one.
Right.
So you had to see the new version to see that they changed the colors, a brighter blue, a brighter yellow. And that they actually according to them, made the logo marker, logo symbol, the spark, more approachable, right? So some of the key changes, once again, were the font, a more digital-friendly font that, was custom designed to differentiate Walmart, right? They wanted to differentiate, which is funny how they say they wanted to do that, but people were they didn't really notice the difference. Once again, the color scheme, little brighter blue, yellow, right? The spark was different. A little more I think the sticker, little thicker sparks, and also, they said that the word mark was actually inspired by a trucker hat from the Walmart founder Sam Walton. That the mark was actually inspired by the trucker hat. So basically their intention was to become more tech empowered, right? Because you think about Walmart, every time you see Walmart now, they also have an app.
So I was about to mention that.
Yeah.
I have, back when we had our other business, I was going to Walmart all the time.
Oh, well, talk about our other business. They don't know.
For those who don't know, our first business together was an in-home preschool.
Yes.
So I was the preschool director and Charles ran the operations and things like that. So I was running Walmart was right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
I was like, thank you. So if I ever needed, extra milk or, food or anything like that, I could just run right over there. And using the app, I was using that app all the time for pickups.
Yeah. because
to make payments with our business credit card. I just saved it in there, and then I could just do the payments. But when they did this logo refresh, I did notice the app looks way different. Like the what do they call that? The little icon.
Yeah.
What's that called?
An icon?
Okay, fine. Yeah. Yes. The app icon is like way more brighter, and it actually makes me want to go use their app, like interact with it a little bit more because it looks fresh and new.
It looks like an app.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is too, I remember me like really trying to encourage you to use the app because you did want to sometimes go to the store.
I know.
And I would be like, don't leave the house.
Because I'm kind of old school like that.
I'm like, just have them delivered. And I remember they had like a monthly subscription and they would deliver the groceries. It was really convenient because we'd be, there at the daycare doing our thing. And then, we get a knock on the door and the groceries will all be there.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you didn't like about it was what?
The janky produce, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yes. So you didn't like them picking out your produce?
No, I'm very particular when it comes to my produce.
Yeah.
I don't like my bread squished.
And also eggs, right? Sometimes they wouldn't pick the eggs out right. Because there's all these rules, right? When you pick out stuff from the store.
Especially, I'm just particular.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, who raised them? Whose mama raised them to get...
Who took you to the grocery store and taught you how to pick out fruit and veggies?
Exactly. So Walmart reveals this like modern new logo and the internet just can't see the difference, right? Which I think is hilarious because like subtly they can though. They may not realize it, but my guess is that the app usage is probably up because it looks more like an app. It's more inviting. What I did notice too is that the outside of the buildings has the new logo.
Yeah, that was quick. Right?
Yeah, it's quick.
And the trucks too. I was driving, and the back of the truck had the new logo.
It looks more inviting. Yes. I don't know what it is, but it just looks more inviting. And it's like a subtle thing. I don't know, the blue, the yellow, like everything it sounds like they intentionally did, it actually is working. Even if people can't like see the difference, like, right off the bat.
It's those subtle things.
Yeah.
That, make people want to interact and engage.
That's right. The subtle things make a difference, even in person, right? If you meet somebody and, they are, let's say they're dressed in a tailored suit and they got the little initials on their, on the cuffs of the shirt. On the cuffs of the shirt. What does that tell you? The little initials tell you what?
They care. It's custom.
It's custom.
So it costs a little bit more.
Costs a little bit more, right? Not everybody has that. So there's little things that's kind of signal things to you. And I think Walmart also made some changes to kind of signal those differences. So they're calling it a comprehensive brand refresh. Would you say it's comprehensive? Would you use that word?
I mean, it's subtle. Comprehensive means like, you're able to really reimagine something. You're really able to dive deep and understand it more.
Yeah.
So do you think people understand the brand more?
I mean, I think that I don't know if I call it comprehensive. Comprehensive to me means like totality. Like it's like it covered all bases. I don't know if it did all that.
Well, it didn't because it created all this,
well, it definitely created a buzz.
Controversy, and it did create a buzz.
Yeah. But I don't know if it covered every angle.
Nah.
According to the news release, the updated branding, according to like Walmart, will better represent who Walmart is today. The company said some of the key features were the things we already talked about, but basically they gave it like a modern custom font. And the key thing is that they feel like it differentiates them, Walmart, from the rest of the crowd. Who are they talking about? What's the other crowd?
I mean, the only other people they compete with is Amazon.
Okay. So yeah, for me, like I don't see the difference like that. Or Target. Yeah, exactly. Differentiate from the rest of the crowd. That's kind of crazy. But I mean, it was cool. I think it was well done. I think it was intentional. I don't think it was necessarily like controversial. I think the controversy is that people couldn't see the difference, but I think the intentionality around it matches what they actually, did, and they made it more modern, and I think that makes sense. And I think that, small businesses should be considering that as well. So, basically, when you look at Walmart and its changes, the one thing that, like, small business should consider is that a logo is more than just a pretty design. right? It's something that tells people about their brand, right? And there's also some psychology around how the brand is perceived. But for a lot of people, I think they don't really understand like what the logo is supposed to do.
So what is a logo supposed to do for a business? I know it's like, supposed to make like a memorable impression on prospects, clients, and their audience, but is it really deeper? Like, is a logo that deep?
It really ain't. I mean, like I'm gonna be real with you. Like the main point of a logo is to be recognizable.
Okay.
That's it. I think we got to demystify this whole logo thing. The main thing is to be recognizable, right? There are certain like things that you want to make sure your logo is when you create it. It's got to be timeless, right? Timeless because as you go through different, decades and trends, your logo should stand the test of time and still look good, right? If it doesn't, you got to change it, right? But the intention is when you make it is to make it kind of timeless, to make it memorable, right? And to make it recognizable for your brand. That's it. Really, the point of a logo, the job of a logo, is that when you see it, it reminds you of the brand.
Okay.
That's it. Now what is a brand?
Does the logo have to be like a work of art and like tell a story? Because I've seen some logos, especially recently. I don't know why. I've just been paying attention to all these different logos, especially for small businesses.
Yes.
And they just have like all these different elements. Like it tells a story of a person coming down the ladder and walking to the beach. And there's a beach and a ladder and the sun and a lighthouse and all these different images in one logo. Does that make sense?
Well, okay, I'll say it like this. It makes sense to them, right? It makes sense to the person that probably made it. It probably won't make sense to your clients. Because the thing is, like, the logo's job is just to remind that person of your brand. So that when they see it, they're like, oh, that's so-and-so, and they do XYZ. That's it. Nike, when you see a Nike swoosh, you don't really, like, no one really cares about the story of the swoosh. No one really even knows what it is. They just know that when they see it, it reminds them of shoes, it reminds them of athletic wear. That's it. That's the point. Like, and people sometimes they've put their cartoon images on it. They've put like a whole drawing on it. The reason why that's not advisable. So there's a couple things, like you need logo to be.
Please talk about the cartoon logos.
Yeah, well, the cartoon logos. I mean, listen, I guess people just like seeing themselves, and listen, it's all good. The issue becomes
no knock to anybody with the cartoon logo.
No, I'm not trying to knock. I'm just saying, like, so once again, the key things for logos, they got to be timeless, recognizable, it's scalable too. I forgot to include that one. As in, it should look good on a, something really small, like on a hat or a shirt, or blown up on like a billboard or digital displays. Like it has to be able to have, different mediums.
Across all mediums.
Across all mediums has to look good. So if you got too much detail in the logo, if it's too like defined and just, hand drawn and all that, it's going to be hard to replicate. And also if it has too many colors in it. If it's got too many colors in it, you're trying to like put it on certain things, like they don't have the same color codes, it becomes a whole nightmare, right? So it also has got to look good in like black and white.
The color codes. So what are the, like, what do you mean by color codes?
So your logo's colors look a certain way on the internet and the web. It's like have the hex codes, but when you go get it printed, there's different other codes that the print shop uses that are not hex codes, RGB and these other.
So for like online branding versus in-person branding, offline branding,
offline or in-person, printed materials, it's different. The colors are different. Sometimes your orange online may not be the same orange unless they have to like mix it and like create that color. So there's like, it's a lot. And people don't really think about that. But if you're working with a design company, they should be thinking about that and help you out with that. But if you're doing it yourself, you're probably not even thinking about all those different things.
Or if you're getting your cousin from around the way,
your cousin from around the way to make the logo.
Young lady in church.
All
who's
that.
just trying it out.
They're not thinking about all that. But see, Walmart is. So Walmart is already knowing that the colors that they're choosing are going to translate no matter where they put them, they're going to stay the same. If it's on a billboard, if it's on a shirt, if it's on a hat, it don't matter. It's going to look the same. They're thinking about all that, right? And and that's one thing about small businesses. Like, we need to understand that the job of that logo is to remind someone of the brand. And the work we need to do is to make sure our brand is giving people the experience that they should have, so that when they see our logo, they have good, like, good feeling about our brand. It brings a good feeling. Like with us, people see the panda, right? They're like, panda.
I love our baby panda.
You call it baby panda.
I know. It's baby panda.
Yeah. I don't
just
know.
Panda?
It's just panda.
Okay.
But when they see the panda, they think about you and me, right? And even they'll be shouting. We'll be in Walmart. We'll be different places. They'll be like, hey, panda.
Different business conferences. They'll be like, hey, panda.
Hey, panda.
Go talk to panda.
That's right. And what does it associate with? When they see the panda, what do they think? They think about our services. They're like, oh yeah, you guys do design and things like that. And that's the whole point of it, right? It's not necessarily like, sometimes people ask me what the story is around the panda, and I have a story around the panda, but it really ain't the point. Like, the point is just for people to recognize it. It to be something that can translate in different mediums, right? I can wear it on my hat. I can wear it on a polo. I can wear it on a hoodie. We can put it on a big billboard, and people are like, oh, that's the panda. And that panda means websites, graphics, funnels, design.
There you go.
There it is. That's it.
And on that note, let's pay some bills. Your online presence may be holding you back, but we can fix that. Entrepreneurs, coaches, speakers, be honest. Are you proud of your website, or do you cringe every time someone asks you for your link? Here's the deal. You don't need to gamble on a full redesign. With Panda Commission's Divine Redesign Movement, you get a pro-level website or funnel mockup for just $100, risk-free. We're talking expert design, not run-of-the-mill templates that everyone else is using. In less than a week, you'll have a high-converting, premium look for your brand. Love it? Move forward with a full redesign. Don't? Walk away, no pressure. Spots are limited, and your next client is judging your website right now. Don't let bad design cost you business. Your digital breakthrough is just one redesign away. Lock in your $100 mockup today at mydivineredesign.com. Panda Commission, premium design for your business at every stage. So, let's really back to small business owners. So when should a small business refresh their logo to keep up with the times like Walmart did?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that the best time, or when you should be considering it, is as you evolve as a business, right? Sometimes you notice that your audience changes, right? As your offer changes, as you evolve, you might have originally started to focus on, let's say, a certain segment, right? Let's say you were focused originally on like an older crowd. Maybe you were focused on like 50 and up, and you wanted to go after like retirees that were, going to get into coaching and want to speak, right? Let's say that was your niche. And so you had a logo and a brand that made sense for that audience. But as you've been evolving and as you've been kind of maybe putting your offer out there and you've met more people, now you're like, okay, I actually want to reach a younger demographic. I'm looking for more of the 30 to 50 range. And so it may make sense at that point to consider a logo refresh, to signal that you're, just kind of evolving your company, but also focusing on a different audience. So that's something to consider. Also, one thing that you should do is if you have a logo that was a part of a trend, like say, you got caught up in the logo phase of, putting your cartoon on it, right? A cartoon logo.
Here we go with the cartoons.
I mean, it's one of it's a phase. It's like a fad. It's a trend, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure at some point it was hot, right? And or if you have a logo, like there's different logos that are like, if you look at your word mark, there's like luxury font. There's like what considered aggressive font. There's
aggressive font,
yeah.
Oh, like the bold ones?
It's not only bold, but it's like maybe like handwritten, like graffiti almost looking.
Oh.
They could consider that kind of like aggressive kind of font.
Okay.
Kind of like feels like it's screaming at you, or
oh yeah, okay.
So like you might have something that looked cool at that time for that, for that moment. But as you've evolved, like maybe now you're trying to get a more premium crowd, so the aggressive font doesn't really or the logo mark doesn't really work.
That makes a lot of
So
sense.
you want to change it to something more premium because maybe you're trying to attract more clients, or you have a vertical. So there's all these different like reasons why. Typically, it's what you want to be doing is matching where your company is now and also where it's headed. So similar to Walmart. Walmart was like, hey, we were, traditionally this grocery, brick and mortar, big box, you come into this huge building and this is what you get. Now they're going into a more digital age, right? Trying to get you to focus more on their app and different things like that. So they want to modernize the logo, right? They want to make it more look like an app, like more app friendly, right? And so that's like a signal, right? So similarly with small business owners, if it's like, hey, you had this logo and it had this look and it was attracting this audience, but now you're shifting towards a new audience or you're shifting towards a new offer, it might be a good time to go ahead and switch that up.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So when they're changing their logo, because it's not just about like changing your logo, right? Because your logo might be on all of your merchandise. Yeah. It's going to be on your letterhead, on your website, on your, EPKs or, all these other different digital assets or physical assets that you have, promotional items. So would it make sense to, if you want to change your logo, just to do a full rebrand or just change your logo?
Yeah, I think it all depends on the objective, right? So sometimes you're not very far off from the look that you want. Sometimes it literally is just, maybe, maybe your font and your logo mark, your word mark is not bolded and you bold it and it just makes it feel a little bit different. I would say to play with it, right? To test it. So you could go for subtle changes, as in just subtle changes in your font. Like say you have your logo mark, which is like your symbol, and you have your word mark, which is how it's written. You can make a subtle change and just change the written part of it to a different font. And, maybe it's like a little more curved or a little more bold or just subtle changes. And it actually will, even though it's subtle, it actually makes it feel different.
So you don't have to be married to it.
No,
like it's not
you don't gotta be
set in
married to
stone.
it.
This is my logo forever.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Literally look at big corporations to signal to you how that's not the way to go. And imagine, so people talk about like, oh man, I don't have to change all this. I got to change the logo everywhere. Imagine what Walmart had to do.
Oh man, exactly.
Man,
on
they
the
got all these
storefront,
stores,
the trucks,
yeah,
the website,
make it happen.
everywhere.
That's the
Their
point.
ads, it's like,
yeah, the point is make it happen because you ain't got all that.
Right.
You ain't got all that. You don't go everywhere like that.
We don't have Walmart money.
Nah, you probably got to change it on Facebook and Instagram and some other places. Chill out, right? But it's worth it, especially when you're talking about a rebrand, you're committing to the rebrand and you don't want to have things disjointed. You don't want to have different logo marks out there because, people see that and it's going to start to, they're going to start to have a lack of trust for your brand because it looks like you all over the place, right? But as far as the changes, you don't want to
look all over the place.
You don't want to do that. But as far as the changes go, you were talking about subtlety versus like a full rebrand. I would test both out. I would, get maybe a focus group, a small group of people that are your clients.
Not your friends and family. Like, don't ask your auntie.
Not your friends and family.
Okay.
Not people who are just going to tell you, yes, it looks great. Like, oh, maybe it looks great.
Because they don't want to hurt your feelings.
Exactly. No, your clients, people who who purchase from you, who, maybe have some brand loyalty to you. So, because sometimes
maybe like send out an email or do like a social media ask.
Yeah, I would maybe send maybe to collect a small group because I wouldn't try to blast out the options. I would just show that to a select small group of people.
Okay.
So that they can give you feedback on if a total relook of the logo is something that looks good or if it's just a subtle difference. I'd explain why you're doing it, right? Give context, what you're trying to achieve, and they can help you, in terms of like meeting that goal. Like, yeah, this is, I think, hits that target. Those are good things that you should do because, believe it or not, sometimes it's funny. It's like it goes both ways. Sometimes people ain't checking and they don't understand. They don't even know you changed, right? Sometimes our mind is super serious to us, and we're like, oh my God, everyone's gonna stop doing business with me because I changed my logo. They don't even know you changed it, right? And then on the other hand, depending on how popular you are and how subtle or how major the change was, sometimes it does become a big deal. right? Sometimes people are like, whoa, what happened? This is completely different.
Are you okay? Are you going through anything?
Exactly. And so you could end up like having to, change the logo and then seeing that it didn't pan out well and then change it back because your audience was like, we don't like this new logo, right?
So at the end of the day, test.
That's it. Test it out. Um, and the thing is, here's the thing. You don't need to be a $1 billion brand to think like a $1 billion brand, right? You can actually take cues from how big business does big business to see if it applies to small business. And it's not always one-to-one. I don't want people thinking like you need to be moving like the big corporations because honestly, a lot of times we just can't for various reasons. However, if there are some principled things that we can glean from them that make sense for us, we should be open to that because there are signals that some of these things that they do actually work and can apply for us. Things like evolving your logo for sure, evolving your brand for sure are good things to do if you're a small business. As you attract more people, as you grow, as you evolve, don't be, like you said, married to the logo where, you just like, man, I've had this logo since I was born, since the inception of my business.
The logo is my baby.
It was my first logo and I'm never letting it go. Because the thing is, sometimes it really does like date you. I remember going to a restaurant recently. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like great decor. It looked real nice. And then the menu came and they had this old hand-drawn logo on it. And it just felt so off. It just like, it made me kind of question like what I was looking at, like if they really had evolved yet, because I was like, and I imagine the owner's like, yeah, okay, you could do all these changes, but this logo is staying. And, sometimes, man, you just got to let it go.
Because business owners, we can't be set in our ways. Like,
nah.
Business is evolutionary, right?
Yeah.
You have to evolve with the times and, keep it moving.
Look at the Starbucks logo, for example. The Starbucks logo, if you remember, it was first like this hand-drawn, like mermaid woman.
With the two tails?
Yeah, it's strange. And then they modernized it and they kept kind of evolving from there. It's actually the same mermaid, but it just looks like, more modern, something more palatable. Like more people can actually appreciate what it is rather than being something that, just looks so like hand-drawn and personalized.
All I need to see is the Starbucks logo, and I know I can go get some coffee over there.
There you go.
So just to wrap everything up, what I took away from this conversation was that in order for brands to stay relevant, we have to constantly be thinking about how we can evolve.
Yes.
Right? Stay current, stay with the times. And what else would you say?
Yeah, I mean, and just really evaluate your logo to see if it makes sense for now, if it makes sense for where you're going, right? And that's it. You just take a look and take a step back. Don't be so emotionally attached to it, and just say, hey, does it need a refresh? Are we heading to a different place, and do we need to kind of present ourselves a little differently? There's nothing wrong with that. All that's going to do, if done right, is going to help you get more clients, help you reach your goals. And the best thing to do is just to test it out, because whether we believe it or not, those things, those subtle things like logos, they do matter in terms of people's perception of our brand, how they value our brand, and how they remember our brand.
So if you're wondering whether or not your logo is holding you back, hit us up at Panda Commission, and we could talk about what's next for your brand.
Yes, and also, if you could, subscribe to our channel. Make sure to leave a comment. We'd love to hear about your logo change. Are you going through a logo change? Are you contemplating one? We'd love to hear it in the comments. Go ahead and leave a comment. And also share this episode if this was something of value for you. You can also follow us on IG at Panda Commission. Panda Commission pretty much everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, go to Panda Commission, even on YouTube as well.
If your brand looks cheap, people will assume your business is too. Coaches, speakers, small business owners, be honest. Does your brand look like the premium high-value business you say it is? Or does it scream, I did it myself, but this ain't my ministry? Listen, a powerful brand isn't just designed, it's built with intention. And if your brand looks basic, don't expect premium clients. That's where Panic Commission comes in. We take care of all your design needs, websites, funnels, and graphics. Unlimited, high-quality designs completely done for you. No more unreliable freelancers, no more overpriced agencies, just a flat monthly rate and branding that actually increases your conversions. It's time to show up like the authority you are. Get unlimited premium design. Visit paniccommission.com and sign up today. Panic Commission, premium design for your business at every stage.